Hello, I'm just checking 1 second. I was having some technical difficulties making sure I'm getting running on everything, but it looks like I believe we're rolling. So welcome. It is day 34 of the war in Iran. We've had a couple big developments since we last checked in. I think it's probably about a day or two ago. Couple U.S. Planes have been shot down. The one of the pilots has been rescued. One of them is still missing. I believe in total about 4 or 5 aircraft have been hit, but we'll get into that. I believe 2 have crashed, and the other pilot that did crash was in the Gulf, and he was rescued, I do believe. So. There's not a ton. You're not hearing a lot coming out of the White House. You're hearing very little. We'll actually go into that. So that's kind of that little chunk there. And then Trump did tweet this morning about the 48 hours. So we're gonna go over that. Sorry, I'm just looking over at the YouTube channel to make sure that we're golden there. Okay, perfect. So welcome to the stream. Monitor the situation. We try to, check in with the war, check in with sports. We got a UFC event starting in a couple hours and some March Madness as well. So we're just touching base, giving some thoughts on what's been going on. We also had some big stuff with podcasts. I don't know, depending on which ones you guys listen to, but we had some news there on X. So we're gonna kind of dig in a little bit into X and see some clips of stuff that I think we might find interesting. So the first thing here you see on the feed, someone's asking if is Donald Trump dying. So this is a rumor that's out there right now. There's not a ton on it besides X. I haven't really checked Reddit or anything, but people are saying that he might be at Walter Reed again. So first things first, the White House. So the White House has put a lid, I put that in quotation marks, on Trump for today, which basically means that we're not expected to hear from him for the remainder of the day, potentially the entire weekend. What could this mean? I believe it means that either the attack is going to progress within the next 48 hours, right? So it's kind of the timing sucks because you have Easter. You have Trump's deadlines of which he's postponed for days. And then this morning he tweeted about 48 hours, which would leave that at Sunday night slash Easter night, when an attack would happen. And the last couple times he's kind of tweeted something like this, he usually attacks the day beforehand or a couple days beforehand. So um, we shall see. But I just typed in Trump Hospital, just see what pops up. So Polymarket 3 hours ago said, breaking, the White House calls a lid, meaning Trump is not expected to appear publicly for the rest of the day. So let's just click in here and see what people are saying. Meme, those Iranians you're talking to, are they here with us? So, X, you're gonna get a lot of memes, but I'm trying to see if there's anyone, what does this say? Can't lose if you don't have a goal, Tanzu. In order to confuse the enemy, you must first confuse yourself. If you don't know what you're doing, neither does your enemy. Oh man, some good ones. Okay. Okay, Stephen Chung. This is the fat Asian guy that is Trump. I always got him confused with the guy from Austin Powers that actually did murder someone, the fat Asian guy. I thought for some reason he was the same guy, but I guess he's not. So Stephen Chung, and I guess that guy's still in prison. I'm sure he was Trump's friend. If Trump knew that the guy that was the fat Asian guy in Austin Powers, murdered someone in like Huntington Beach, I believe. I believe it was found guilty and sentenced, and I think he's still there. But if Trump knew he was, he would probably pardon him. It might give him a job. So. But let's see what Stephen Chung said. On this Easter weekend, he has been working nonstop in the White House Oval Office, Chung wrote on Twitter. The White House called the lid at 11, meaning no public appearances or events are expected from the president the rest of the day. He already took a picture with the Easter Bunny, so I don't think. Do I have that picture on here of the Easter Bunny? Yeah, there you go. He's probably fine, but people were saying he was at Walter Reed, so not just any hospital. It was Walter Reed, and then you know how people get into people have sources, so sometimes they say, "Oh, a motorcade arrived here at this such and such time," right? Oh, okay, let's hear this from Fox News.
But again, the search continues to find that missing weapons systems officer, as we heard Mike talking about that on the ground. This is one of the U.S. service members who was on board one of those two downed planes in the last day. We do know that search and rescue teams were able to go in and rescue the pilot of that F-15E, that fighter jet. But again, the other service member is still not accounted for. We do know that the search continues, and Senator Tim Sheehy, who earlier today on Fox came on air to explain that this is a mission that these rescue teams are trained to carry out.
They exist for one purpose: to search for, find, and rescue downed pilots. And these pilots go through extensive SEER training, survival, evasion, resistance, escape. They're well trained for this. So, of course, he's in the best hands possible, and hopefully we see him back soon.
Today, the war enters its sixth week. President Trump warned Iran today about his approaching April 6th deadline to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And Senator Lindsey Graham says that he spoke with the president today, writing, quote, "I'm completely convinced that he will use overwhelming military force against the regime if they continue to impede the Strait of Hormuz and refuse a diplomatic solution to achieve our military objectives." Now, in terms of what we are hearing from the president, we know he is here today at the White House. We do not expect to see him for anything else later today. But when he was asked about whether or not this service member would impact potential negotiations with Iran, the president said it would not. John.
Alex Hogan.
Yeah, so that was this morning. Sounds like no new news since last night. So Lars Christensen asks, is there anything at all indicating Trump is at Walter Reed? So that's kind of what we're trying to figure out. There are some signs that something is wrong. That has been the case for decades with him. So the road closures, I believe this is what, at 7:50. Wait, no, what would this have been? That would have been like last night. So who knows what time zone that person's in. President Trump will not appear before the public today. Well, Alex Jones was just talking about, he's mentioned it a lot. It's about Trump's ankles, saying that it's heart failure. I'm sure nothing could stress someone out as much as how bad this war is going in terms of not necessarily what the military is doing. Well, now with the helicopters or the several airplanes being shot down, it's not good. So this guy, Ed Krasenstein's kind of the most prominent tweet that I've seen saying speculation is rising. But yeah, nothing else. So this is kind of the little weird breaking news story that's not really news as much.
Walter Reed is the president of the United States experiencing some sort of health problem that we're not being told about? Not this time. This is a picture of a Marine sentry standing in front of the West Wing, indicating the president is there working, but he's not at Walter Reed. Oh well, maybe next time. Is the president dead?
So that's good. I mean, internet rumors nowadays. Here's a guy. Here's Emma Nicholson saying a Marine standing. Oh my gosh, this is too hilarious. I was gonna put this for us to watch later, but Tim Dillon is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. We are here and we are going to discuss the news of the day. Kristi Noem, I know she shot her dog in the face, and then she kind of made a mess of the Homeland Security thing. Now she's got a husband named Byron, and he likes cross-dressing, and he likes having the big tits, the milkers. And what did Noem say about this? What was her response? Miss Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. What am I supposed to pray? I'm supposed to pray for this guy and his tits? All the horror that's happening in the world. People are literally being vaporized by machines of death. We're bombing schoolgirls while they sit in class, and I'm supposed to pray for Kristi Noem's husband and his H-cup tits? When the people in Gaza are wandering around trying to find grain so they can bake a loaf of bread, I'm supposed to pray for Kristi Noem's husband and his big tits? Well, no, I will not pray for your husband and his big tits. How about that? You can pray for his big tits.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Dillon is amazing. I need to watch his if you listen to Joe Rogan, he talks about Tim Dillon a lot, and Tim Dillon's been on, I think he was on with Alex Jones even once, but Tim Dillon has this episode on Epstein that he did maybe 2 months ago that is I've listened to it once. It's pretty good, but I need to watch it because I just listened to it. I want to watch it. And then just watching any of his stuff on YouTube is highly recommended. But just quick updates, some stuff I wrote down about the top news stories. So the F-15 was shot down missing. It is confirmed that one of the airmen is missing. So it was shot down over Iran. One was rescued. The other one is missing. Iran is offering the equivalent of $60,000. I think it was like 2 million or 2 billion, whatever, denarii. So 60K bounty to capture him alive. So this is the first U.S. Jet shot down by enemy fire in over 20 years. So the reason this matters is that it just basically directly contradicts, the administration's position that air dominance, that we have full air dominance and can do what we want when, some of them are getting shut down, shot down and shut down as well. So that is a big thing. So Iran just proved that they can hit, our aircraft. So there is an active rescue mission underway. So the U.S. is running this rescue mission, but we don't know a lot about it, right? So let's see if we can watch a couple videos. I did see one incredible, I believe it's validated video of Iranian policemen shooting at a helicopter. Reports indicate a U.S. military operation is underway in western part of Koligwin and Boyar Ahmed province to find second missing pilot of the crash F-15. Now local officials in Conhoe County are pushing back hard. The governor says no U.S. forces, no paratroopers, no clashes, flat denial, which means one of two things: nothing happened, or something happened that nobody wants to confirm yet.
همگان نوه عباسیم گفته بودیم
So much fake stuff on the internet. I don't want to, show any of it. I saw this video yesterday. Guy offering, basically the wealthy guy's offering a bounty for a captured pilot. This is kind of the famous picture that's been shown. The seat, no pilot. I guess there's a GPS on the seat.
Relationship with NATO possibly getting out?
Well, I'm disappointed in NATO that we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. Think of it, trillions over the years, many trillions of dollars. It's one of the reasons we have deficits and we help other countries. And when they don't help us, I mean, it's certainly something that we should think about. I don't need Congress for that decision. As you probably know, I can make that decision myself. I'd work with some very smart people. And I'd always deal with Congress anyway, but I don't need Congress for that decision. But, you know, when you say rethink, I have nothing currently in mind, but I will say that I'm not exactly thrilled when we help them with Ukraine. Look, Ukraine would have been over in one day if we didn't help. Frankly, Ukraine would have been over in the first day. They had the best equipment in the world. It was our equipment.
Okay. Group of Iranians allegedly out hunting down F-15. It means hit. And if the time you are a little bullet, our skin does not reach. I will say because my lover, these are just reoccurring competitors' risk. It doesn't make sense really a lot. It's just what they're saying, but. Is this real? Wow. So we had the F-15, right? A-10 aircraft was also hit. Helicopters were taking ground fire during rescue attempts. So it's kind of been a complete mess since yesterday morning when everyone woke up to this, and we haven't heard very much from the White House since. So that'll tell you, they love to talk a lot, and it's been pretty quiet. So questions remain: how far will the U.S. go to recover the down pilot that we know about? Does this mean sending special forces deeper into Iran to capture him or to rescue him if he has been captured? And what happens if this goes on camera? It uses propaganda. What if the rescue fails on camera? What if more guys get pinned down? It's really a huge, huge mess. So, and then this morning, Trump gave an ultimatum. I haven't actually looked at his True Social, so I haven't read the tweet. I woke up to it on the British broadcast channel, and they were reading it, and that was his morning ultimatum. And I mean, at this point, it's hard to believe a lot of what he says, because I don't like the taco crap or any of that, but he changes his mind. So what can you believe about what he says? You can believe the main point, I guess, or the main message, but how do you decipher what his main message is and what is just him zigzagging around, So this is yesterday still about the new jobs. Believers of faith, believers of faith. Okay, so 7 hours ago, he tweeted, failing New York Times, whose lack of credibility and their constant fake news attacks on your favorite president, me, has caused it circulation to absolutely plummet. Referred to our severely weakened and extremely unreliable partner NATO as they did do that. What a joke. The North American Treaty Organization. Correct name is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. A very interesting mistake. The hiring and educational standards have gone way down at the New York Times. Bring back all the news that's fit to print and make American news great again. Or he should say American news great again. He should say that. That would be a perfect propaganda slogan. Make American news great again. Um, Not only were okay, so he's talking about the jobs. So 6 hours ago, this is the ultimatum, the 48. So remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the strait? The time is running out, 48 hours to go. All hell will rain down on them. Glory to God. Do you approve JD Vance CPAC? So the CPAC numbers are great. So that's all we got out of Trump today. So that's why people maybe too are saying, where is Trump? Is he sick? He's not being seen. He's just hunkered down at the White House. It's probably a good thing, that he's being quiet. So this guy Solomon, I think I know he's got British citizenship. I'm not sure what his home country is. It might be Iran. I don't know where he's originally from. Might be Palestine. Um, but he's British. He might actually just be British. Um, so he's been covering this a lot. Definitely leans to the Iranian side. He's on the Iran side, but the information he provides, Iran seems to be lying a lot less, at least in the information that comes through. You know, it's hard to believe any of what you hear from any sources except the ones that you do trust. So Hezbollah said we targeted special early warning equipment of the Israeli army on Mount Hermon with a squadron of suicide drones. Soleimani's department arrested the wrong person. Has nothing to do with her family. So the U.S. So Rubio said that they were arrested Soleimani's niece and like daughter or something, and they were going to kick him out of the U.S. And this woman is saying that's not. They got the wrong person. So that's embarrassing if that's true. Hezbollah hit 2 more tanks. Are they going to show footage? Again, this is from Hezbollah, so we don't know if this is. Man, these drones are incredible to be able to fly that like that. They're using smoke, but wow. Iranian drone hits skyscraper in Dubai. This is Dubai, folks. So this is not the tweet, but this is one of the ones that shows Trump's rash. That picture's old though. But yeah, so no Trump. I think Suleiman's doing his Twitter Spaces. We could actually listen for a bit. It's just it gets too hectic. Can only listen for so long, and then maybe like 90 seconds, and then I have to take a timeout depending on who's speaking. U.S. evacuation teams have entered Iran. Sources say, I mean, these pictures, we don't know about those images. Two aircrafts arrive in the Middle East from. I don't know if this is real attack on Tel Aviv stuff. This is apparently supposed to be Tel Aviv, so hard to find this type of stuff online. Pigeons are still there. They're definitely getting hit. So this is saying Iran announces they shot down 1 advanced fighter jet, 2 A-10 war, and 3 US and
پرقدرت در کمین دشمنان نشسته ایم. جمعه 14 فروردین ماه در روز 35م جنگ تحمیلی از سوی دشمنان آمریکایی صهیونیستی
make this a little smaller so you guys can see the fighter.
روز پر افتخاری برای یگانهای پدافند هوایی کشور بود. رزمندگان با صلابت و شجاع اسلام توانستند پرقدرت، با سرعت و با دقت ضربات مهلکی را به جنگنده‌ها، بالگردها، پهپادها و هواگردهای دشمن وارد نموده و تعداد قابل توجهی از آنها را ساقط نمایند. روز جمعه که باید آن را
So this does match the information if they said that it was the 3 drones, the 2 warthogs, and the 8 and the 8. Yeah, so that would be, I heard it was 5 American craft and I didn't know about the Israeli craft, so that would make sense, and 1 Israeli craft. So
جمعه سیاه و خفتبار برای دشمنان آمریکایی و صهیونیستی نامید، سامانه نوین پدافند هوایی نیروی قهرمان هوافضای سپاه، یک جنگنده فوق پیشرفته نسل 5 F-35 آمریکا، 3 پهپاد راهبردی MQ-9 و هرمس و 2 موشک کروز پنهانکار، پدافند نیروی زمینی سپاه با سلاح‌های در اختیار، یک جنگنده پیشرفته A-10 و 2 بالگرد بلک هاک و همچنین دلاورمردان نیروی پدافند هوایی ارتش، یک جنگنده پیشرفته A-10 را تحت هدایت و کنترل شبکه یکپارچه پدافند هوایی کشور مورد اصابت قرار دادند. قبلا اعلام کرده بودیم ما توانایی‌هایمان را در میدان نشان می‌دهیم. دشمن بداند که ما با سامانه‌های نوین پدافند هوایی که به دست جوانان دانشمند و پر افتخار این کشور ساخته شده و یکی پس از دیگری در میدان عمل از آن رونمایی می‌شود، حتما به کنترل کامل آسمان کشورمان فائق خواهیم آمد و حقارت دشمن زبون را به جهانیان پیش از گذشته ثابت خواهیم نمود.
Israel preparing strikes on Iranian energy facilities. Yeah, I mean, that's from Reuters. So we'll check out British Broadcast Channel after this, and then Al Jazeera as well. Those are good sources for accurate information. Suleiman gets ahead of his skis a lot with some of the tweets that he sends out. It says UAE embassy in Damascus has fallen. Lindsey Graham indicates ground invasion coming soon, and it makes him happy. Oh, I bet it does. Sorry, let me make this picture a little bit bigger. We don't have to go full screen often on a video unless it's, text you guys can't see. So I want you guys to be able to see the majority of it. There you go. All right. Unfortunately, it's Lindsey Graham's face, but after speaking with President Trump this morning, I am completely convinced that he will use overwhelming military force against the regime if they continue to impede the Strait of Hormuz and refuse a diplomatic solution to achieve our military objectives. If it's not clear to Iran and others by now that President Trump means what he says, then I don't know when when it will ever be. I completely support the 48-hour ultimatum. A massive military operation awaits Iran if they choose poorly.
Welcome to the UFC, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So there's been a lot of hype. I guess the hype is real, man. Yeah, because Martin Primitive is a tough dude.
Man, he's tough.
He was blasting at you too, trying to take you out.
I heard him on a few shots. He kept coming forward.
Yeah, you heard him a few times too. You heard him a lot before you finished him.
Yeah. I knew he was emotional going in. Obviously, the Irish, they're giving it loads to him. I'm writing on his Facebook page and sending him all these kind of threats.
Yeah, you got in his face yesterday too, and I know that. Yeah.
But I don't know. I had a feeling he was emotionally attached to it, and he was going to overthrow shots, and that's what happened. It went well.
Man,
man.
People are going crazy on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
People are going fucking crazy.
You know,
Ireland's going nuts.
So tell me the good news, then.
And I'm sorry they were fucking with your flag. That pissed me off, man. What the fuck are they doing? Fucking with the kid's flag.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know? So good, man. We're pumped. So welcome. So we'll see what's next. We got a big fight coming in Boston.
Yeah, sweet.
So it'll be fucking cool to bring you to Boston too.
Get Paramount Plus if you don't have it. Get Paramount Plus. It's worth it.
And we are going back to Ireland.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a fight in Dublin. We're gonna do a fight in Dublin.
Yeah.
So you can do Dublin.
We'll start watching the fights in a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Big fight. Yeah.
Wow, Connor looks so different. All right, Al Jazeera English. Let's see what we got. This is their pinned tweet. Iranian forces claim to have hit 2 U.S. aircraft, triggering a massive search for the missing pilot, while U.S. and Israel continue to target Iran's infrastructure. President Trump wants extra. Yeah, he wants 1.5 or 1.5 or 1.7 trillion, literally doubling the defense budget. I need to get into the defense, making fasteners for them or something.
Forces have suffered their most significant losses inside Iran. 2 U.S. aircraft are reported to have been downed in Iran. And if you think you've seen everything in this war, think again. Iranian forces have hit 2 U.S. aircraft, triggering a search for a missing pilot. Attacks on civilian infrastructure in Iran escalate as Israel is hit in retaliation, and President Trump requests a record $1.5 trillion defense budget. Here's everything you need to know about the past 24 hours. After weeks of claiming complete air superiority, U.S. air forces have suffered their most significant losses inside Iran. 2 U.S. aircraft are reported to have been downed in Iran and the Gulf. Iran state media said this is the wreckage of an F-15 that was shot down over a southwestern province. One pilot is reported to have been rescued by U.S. Special Forces, but a second pilot is still missing. And Iranian media is offering a reward for information about the pilot's location. 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters involved in the rescue mission were reported to have been damaged, but made it out of Iranian airspace. Then, in a separate incident, Iranian forces say they shot down a second aircraft, an A-10 near the Strait of Hormuz. The aircraft reportedly crashed after making it to Kuwait, where the pilot ejected and was rescued. Iranian forces say the incidents prove their air defenses are functional.
به دنبال ادعاهای دروغین رئیس جمهور آمریکا مبنی بر نابودی کامل پدافند هوایی ایران، یک فروند جنگنده متخاصم آمریکا در آسمان مرکزی ایران توسط سامانه نوین پدافند پیشرفته هوافضای سپاه تحت کنترل شبکه یک پارچه پدافند هوایی کشور مورد اصابت قرار گرفت و منهدم شد. این جنگنده به طور کامل متلاشی شده و جستجوهای بیشتر ادامه دارد.
Let's take a closer look at the two aircraft. The F-15E Strike Eagle is one of the most advanced jets in the world, costing an estimated $90 million per unit. It can carry up to 8 missiles and can fly 2.5 times the speed of sound. Then there's the A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft, designed primarily for precision strikes. It is used to assist troops on the ground, and it's built to destroy tanks. And it costs $20 million per aircraft, which is less than the F-15, but still significant. But despite the downing of the US aircraft, intense waves of airstrikes continue across Iran, with US and Israeli attacks on civilian infrastructure expanding. Among the latest targets were the Mehrabad International Airport and the Shahid Beheshti University in Tehran. Attacks are also intensifying outside the capital, with heavy strikes reported in Isfahan, Khurramabad, and Kermanshah. Across the country, almost 2,000 people have been killed since the war began. These attacks are triggering an international response, with China speaking out, saying they violate international law.
美国和以色列对伊朗发动军事行动，未经联合国安理会授权，违反国际法。
Meanwhile, in Israel, sustained barrages of Iranian missiles have been fired across the country. Cluster munitions were fired around the Tel Aviv area, and a major fire broke out at a factory in the Naqab desert. There were also strikes from Hezbollah, with multiple barrages targeting areas in northern Israel, including the port city of Haifa. And across the border inside southern Lebanon, Israel has blown up 2 crucial bridges on the Litani River and ordered residents to move north of the Zahrani River, cutting off thousands of people. Homes, roads, and water facilities have also been destroyed. Israel has made its plans clear and says it will occupy areas up to the Litani River even after the war ends. The attacks have caused mass displacement, and more than 1,300 people have been killed across the country. Moving to the Gulf, a missile interception over the UAE's largest gas processing plant caused a large fire. At least 1 person was killed at the Habshan facility, and significant damage is being reported. There were also further missile barrages in Kuwait, a day after an electricity plant and water desalination plant were attacked. The Gulf remains on the front line of this conflict, and the Strait of Hormuz has become the most strategic waterway in the world. Donald Trump remains positive that it will be open soon. He wrote on Truth Social, "With a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune," adding it would be a gusher for the world. But so far, the only vessels passing through are those making the deals with the Iranian government. A French vessel became the first European ship to be allowed through on Friday. It joins ships from mainly Asian nations, including China, Pakistan, and India, that have recently passed through the strait. But traffic is way down. An average of 129 vessels passed before the war. That's now down to around 9 per day. The International Energy Agency says it's caused the largest disruption to oil and gas supplies in history. And as consumers face rising costs, President Trump is requesting more money from US taxpayers. He's asking Congress for a record $1.5 trillion defense budget. That's an increase of over $500 billion and mark the largest expansion in US military spending since World War II. Trump insists it's worth it, but polls in the US show a growing majority disapprove of this war the longer it continues. That's just about all from me on day 35 of the war.
So why a lot of this stuff matters, and then the Trump's 48-hour tweet today is it, and all the ground invasion, everything it seems like is leading towards something big happening within, or already happening, we just don't know about, within the next day to 2 days. So the next 12 to 36 hours, probably going to see some massive type of changes in the area. So great work. Who is this lady? Ryan? Hey, worth a follow. She, laid it out pretty good. Iran's Central Military Command has rejected, this is 1 minute ago, rejected U.S. President Trump's helpless and nervous, quote, threat to destroy the country's vital infrastructure if it does not make a deal with him. Iran rejects it. We're just talking about it. So it looks like whatever was going to happen is going to have to go down. Because it's not going to go the easy way for Trump. He's going to have to get it the hard way if he's going to get whatever it is that he wants. So he wants the strait and control of the oil. Then I guess that's what's going to have to happen. Israel's Northern Command Chief Major General Rafi Milo says military overestimated the damage inflicted on Hezbollah during its 24 ground invasion, according to recordings by Israeli media. I guess Hezbollah is stronger than they thought. Iran's Central Military Command rejects Trump's helpless ultimatum, they call it. Meloni meets Qatar Emir to discuss energy issues amid war. Meloni, man, she's sexy. Georgia Meloni, and then that's the Qatar Emir. This explosion will worsen their condition, Chief Tehran Del Aram Sina Psychiatric Hospital showed damage recent at the medical facility. He says now unable to treat patients. This is a bombing of a hospital. It's worth knowing about.
نه متاسفانه فعلا رو قابلیت استفاده نداره چون تقریبا تمام بخشا تخریب شده و حداقل 1 ماه زمان نیاز هستش که ما بتونیم دو تا بخش از 5 تا بخشمون رو فعال کنیم و بقیه بخش‌ها و فعال شدن کاملش هم حداقل فکر می‌کنم به 5-6 ماه زمان نیاز داره. بیمارایی بودن که قبلا به خاطر حوادثی که براشون اتفاق افتاده دچار استرس و اضطراب بودن و در بیمارستان بستری شده بودن که بتونن استرس اضطرابای قبلی رو در حقیقت درمان کنن، ولی این موج انفجار و این اتفاقی که افتاده قطعاً شرایطشون رو بدتر و وخیم‌تر خواهد کرد.
Foreign Minister Abbas has written a letter to UN Chief Antonio Guterres condemning U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran's nuclear sites, warning such attacks expose the entire region to a serious risk of retroactive contamination. It'll be interesting to see what Gutierrez, if Gutierrez does anything. He almost had a double check mark. I was like, what? Secretary Rubio has revoked the permanent residency of 2 women related to Qasem Soleimani, the late Major General. Guess it's the wrong women, people are saying. Foreign Minister warns of serious radiation risk after attack on Bushehr power plant. Iran accused U.S. and Israel of carrying out attacks on civilian infrastructure, calling them war crimes. So this will be worth watching. It says we take you through a walkthrough of Iran's coastline and strategic islands, marking its architecture of control.
Points that have been described. Iran's southern coastline is a vast maritime corridor, 1,800 kilometers from Iraq in the west to Pakistan in the east. All along the coastline.
Obviously, why this is important is because our young men are going to be sent most likely to go fight and claim these areas and open them up, and they will be susceptible to attack. And we got to know at least a little bit of more of why everyone is saying this is literally a death trap. You hear people like Alex Jones, military, then you hear military people saying it as well. Joe Kent, right? So let's take a listen.
Are islands with geopolitical leverage points that have been described as Iran's strategic architecture of control. And at its heart is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point through which 20% of global oil and gas flows. Let's look at the strait. All along, it is a defensive arc of islands that's come into play since the start of the US-Israeli war on Iran. See, Iran imposed its control over ships passing through the strait. The usual deep-water shipping lanes are empty, and only select vessels can pass through a new safe corridor under Iranian supervision. That 18 kilometers corridor runs between Lerak Island and Hormuz Island to its north. More and more tourists are visiting Hormuz Island, by the way, to take in the stunning Rainbow Valley's red landscape. On the mainland here we have Bandar Abbas, Iran's main port, a hub for naval operations like monitoring the strait and a logistics link between the mainland and the Gulf. The largest island in the Gulf is Qishm Island, a free trade zone also believed to host military facilities and fast attack naval units. Down here are the disputed islands of Greater Toom, Lesser Toom, and Abu Musa. They're governed by Iran, but the UAE says they're part of its territory. Their strategic locations allow Iran to monitor shipping lanes, maintain military installations, and extend its territorial waters. Asaluya, with its rugged terrain, is home to the South Pars gas field, which provides most of Iran's gas. Iran's only operational civilian nuclear power plant is further north at Bushehr. And less than 2 hours away by boat is Kharg Island, which handles about 90% of Iran's oil exports. The location makes it an ideal processing and storage depot for mainland and offshore oil fields, which connect to it by relatively short pipelines. And its deep waters mean large tankers can dock and load here, something they can't do at the mainland. Kharg has been in the headlines since US President Donald Trump bombed it on March 13th. Tellingly, he left the petroleum installations untouched, and has said repeatedly since then that he wants to seize the island and Iran's oil. Meanwhile, Iran's overall response has been pretty confident, with Army Chief Major General Hatami saying that if the US tries to invade Iran, not a single American soldier would survive.
So I think that's a pretty good overview there. I thought they were going to go into the terrain a little more, but they just talked about the strait, the channel, the islands. So, Prime Minister Maloney's met Qatar Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani in Doha to discuss the energy crisis due to the ongoing war. Yemen's Houthis have claimed carrying out an attack. Yemen's Houthis have claimed carrying out an attack targeting Israel's Ben Gurion airport as well as vital military sites in northern Israel. Iranian armed force spokesman said the country is now closer to achieving full control of its airspace. Wow, he stressed these systems developed by knowledgeable youth of Iran are operating in use to deter the hostile threat.
Meanwhile, the search for a missing U.S. airman in Iran continues. That's after Tehran says it downed 2 U.S. fighter jets on Friday, one near the Strait of Hormuz. 2 of the 3 crew have been rescued. Iran's military command says it used new defense systems to shoot down the planes and that it'll achieve full control over its airspace.
We had previously announced that we would demonstrate our capabilities in the field, let the enemy know that with the new air defense systems, built by the knowledge and proud youth of this country and unveiled one after another in the field of action, we will surely achieve complete control of our country's skies, and we will prove to the world more than ever before the humiliation of the wretched enemy.
Well, meanwhile, the search for a missing U.S. airman in Iran continues. That's after Tehran says it downed 2 U.S. fighter jets on Friday, one near the Strait of Hormuz. 2 of the 3 crew have been rescued.
So yeah, I mean, Israel's got more fronts. They got Yemen, Houthis claim missile attack on Israel. People are fighting back to their aggression. And now we've got war between all of them. So a spokesman for Iranian's military, Qatem al-Anbaya Central Headquarters, has warned the U.S. and Israel that any further escalation in the war will be met with severe region-wide backlash. Ugh. This lady said we have a critical window of up to 72 hours. Defense expert told Al Jazeera some difficulties in finding missing U.S. airmen in Iran. Iranian officials are offering a reward for that. Okay, let's hear what this young lady has to say.
It seems like the pilot is still alive, and therefore it would be expected, given the fact that the U.S. air crew members and special forces undergo survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training, that he will try to blend with the terrain and to survive as long as possible, to make it possible for the U.S. crews to locate him and to rescue him. But then again, you have the contradiction of if he hides well and conceals his location, because the U.S. is operating from the air, it needs constant intelligence and surveillance in order to be able to locate him. Besides, some reports indicate that the pilot doesn't speak Persian, which means that it will be difficult for him to negotiate with the Iranians should he be captured by civilians, or should he be found by civilians. And therefore, it's a race for time, because right now we have this critical window of up to 72 hours where both sides are trying to get hold of the pilot for both military and political purposes.
What a horrible situation to be in. Iran's military says the entire region will go to hell for U.S. Israel if they escalate the war. Israel air attack in the town of Habush today killed at least 2 girls and wounded 22 people, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Lebanon's taking it hard. Maybe we'll check in with Harrison, and he had this guy who he does a show with on Rumble sometimes called Lebanon John. He had him on War Room in the last hour, I think it was, yesterday. And that guy brings a lot of good knowledge on what's going on in Lebanon. I'm assuming he's got family ties there or something, but it was really interesting to listen to some of that. So I'm sure there's some clips we can run just to get a further knowledge of what's going on there. That's kind of just never talked about or mentioned anywhere else. So especially not on the mainstream media. So Israeli military has warned that it will attack Mansana border crossing between Lebanon and Syria, alleging that it had been used by Hezbollah, according to a statement by Arabic language spokesperson. Satellite imagery shows U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran's infrastructure hitting ports, their busiest ports, military sites on card. Okay, let's see the before and after.
In them, you can see the sites have sustained significant damage. The port is vital to Iran's economy as it handles more than 3 million tons of cargo each year. Bushehr is also home to Iran's only operating nuclear power plant. Several attacks have targeted the vicinity, but Iran says there's been no damage. A port on Keshem Island has also been hit. It's located in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for global shipping. Satellite images show some of the port's infrastructure has been damaged. The island also hosts a major desalination plant, which Iran says has been attacked. It supplies drinking water to about 30 villages. US forces have conducted major military strikes on Iran's Karg Island, which processes about 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. Again, the satellite images show some of these military sites hit have sustained damage. Now, these attacks did not target oil infrastructure, but Trump has threatened more strikes. The US and Israel have also hit oil depots and refineries in and around the capital. That includes the Agdassia oil warehouse, a major fuel storage and distribution facility. The attack sent large plumes of smoke across Tehran, releasing toxic substances into the air.
It's a lot of damage they were showing. Hundreds of Israelis carry anti-war banners reading "Don't bomb, talk, end the endless wars," and chanting slogans against Netanyahu. Of course, they're going to get thrown in jail.
Satellite images.
Israel warns it will strike crossing used by displaced civilians to flee war. Videos show Palestinians in Gaza scrambling to extinguish a vehicle engulfed in flames after it was targeted by Israeli drones. A lot of people being killed. The Israeli military claims a weekend attack hit 200 targets in Iran and Lebanon. Israel is preparing to attack energy facilities, but is waiting for the green light from the U.S., as any such attack would likely come within the next week, reports Reuters. So that's probably most likely true from an Iranian or from an Israeli official. Lindsey Graham is saying the same thing. So if things are about to pick up, folks. That's what all signs are pointing to. And this pilot we can't seem to find, and I don't know if we'll be able to get him back soon if things pick up. Trump said it's not going to affect his negotiating. U.S. President Trump issued another threat to Iran, writing on his Truth social media page that it has 2 days to make a deal to open up the Hormuz Strait. I heard France made a deal too, and I know Macron's been talking, so that might be interesting to take a look at. New video shows moment U.S. Israeli strikes hit B1 bridge, killed at least 13 people and injuring 19. So the other top story is there's a lid on Trump this weekend. So I honestly think it could just be some strategic discipline for once, maybe because they don't really have shit else to say. So it's probably a good idea to not talk. I doubt that he's at the hospital. Hopefully that is not the case. So we will have to see. I just got a coupon from Nothing Bundt Cakes for a free something or other, and it's my sister's birthday tomorrow, so I might have to pay them a visit later. They've got the best lemon cake, Nothing Bundt Cake. The other thing that we need to discuss was the Hegseth firings, I guess we can call them, is all these generals and top military brass being fired. The Greeks had Alexander the Great, the Arabs had Khalid ibn Walid. This is who's leading the American army.
Steve, Gunner got it. Down goes Hegseth. Duncan Dad on New Year's Eve. Gunner got it.
That's not good. This is the P. Hegseth video.
You punk ass rape, Papa ink on your arm, think you are quiet, cause Me Too is on. Now you on next, book called, get the ring, but wait, cute, rookie, American soul, you think you high, this ain't full force, just a warm.
I didn't want to show the full-on propaganda, and then there's a lot of F-bombs too, so it's just like, if a couple are okay, I try not to say it, because I don't know what the rules are on all these streaming platforms or not, but I generally talk the way I would talk, but trying not to give them too much propaganda time, you know. Let's see, I should have looked on Al Jazeera for a breakdown of the firing of the generals. So these are some of the ones that retired.
And then you got this, and I'm still trying to find out why, and I'm looking into it. But they already purged who they thought was bad, and they got rid of a lot of bad people and got rid of DEI, and I was all, hey, Hegseth, great. He's smart, got a lot of courage, he's charming, he's got a great military record. But he didn't join with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs warning Trump not to do this, and he's too optimistic about it all. And so, not a good sign in the middle of this war to remove the head of the army, who is not known as some leftist. Hegseth, wartime firing of top generals, stuns officials, it's insane. And I bet you money, it comes out in the next 48 hours, that he told them exactly what the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Obama when Obama said, deny the air to Russia and go into Syria, and the Marine Corps general, as the chairman, said, we'll follow your order, sir, but that's war with Russia. On the escalation ladder, it moves to nuclear weapons within a few days. We'll follow your order. Didn't say no, he said, we'll follow your order. Give us your order. And Obama said, let's not do that. When Obama staged the chemical attacks with Al-Qaeda to blame Assad, but the Al-Qaeda operatives wanted to get money from back home, so they bragged, firing it, said, Durka, Muhammad Jihad. You know, no, troops said, no, we'll send another 10. They're like, sir, we hundreds. No, Hegseth doesn't do anything unless Trump tells him. So let's logic this out. People ask how I know this stuff, how everything I say keeps coming through. I got 1,000 data points times 1,000, but let's just, you're smart too. Come on. Trump is actually the president right now, but if you can influence him, you get him to do bad things. He even said yesterday, you know, I have evil people can manipulate me, and God, you're evil. He's like, you know, you're evil as shit, but then you suck my weenie. Sorry, he didn't really say it. You know what I mean? Metaphysically, sorry. Get the clip. Clip 31 yesterday. It doesn't sound real. And I'm on the show saying, Trump is influenced by evil people. He can be manipulated. And they go, boss, you didn't look at your full list. I didn't even see the clip. They go, he says that. And I said, who's he say it to? And they go, we think it's Levin, which it was Levin later, we learned. And it's just like Twilight Zone music is cute in my head. I love people who are nice to me, even if they're bad people. I'll do anything for them. Like it's like he's one of our airmen shot down in Vietnam. And remember the famous Morse code where they're like torture, torture, torture. Morse. It was Royce White said a few weeks ago. He said, Trump, blink 3 times if you're being held hostage. And I'm not trying to even give Trump an out on this. Well, the top military leader during yesterday, most notably General Randy George, U.S. Army Chief of Staff yesterday. The Pentagon confirmed George's immediate retirement, marking a rare removal of the top.
General Randy Hone, head of Army's Transformation and Training Command, Major General William Green Jr., Chief of Army Chaplains, first such firing in U.S. history, fired the chaplain. And I heard it's because the chaplain has to sign off on certain strikes or something like that. Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Chief of Naval Operations, General Charles Q. Brown, former Chairman of Joint Chiefs, Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, Head of Defense Intelligence.
Military leader during an ongoing conflict, yeah. You normally just actually remove him from actual command, but don't announce it. Other key figures include General David Houghton, Major General Michael Green, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, General Charles Q. Brown, Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz. Okay. So, what did I say 30 days ago? I said they're going to try to invade. They'll probably try to take this Kursk island first. That's obvious. And I went and looked at assessments of previous.
And we just went over the geography over there on those islands, the importance, the strategic importance, but also how challenging, how a death trap that looks like as well.
Administrations, including this previous one, 200, 300,000 troops. Because, see, you can't just take that one island. You got to take all the mountains and hills up above it on the coastline and the other little islands right next to it. And I explained this weeks ago. I said they've got in-close missiles, anti-aircraft missiles, anti-ship, anti-tank, and they've got all this artillery they can just roll out, honeycombed everywhere, and they'll be able to keep the strait closed as much as they want. And it's such a huge geographic area, you'll need hundreds of thousands of troops. Trump came out a few days ago and was like, well, they can even close it with a gun or their missiles or their bazookas. Yeah, whatever. I said that because it's military doctrine, and I guarantee you the Pentagon has told him exactly that. And I bet you money the head of the Army was in there in the last few days. Look at it. I bet he was. Iran rejects all U.S. demands and refuses to meet with American officials in Islamabad. Depends on how you look at it. But he from sources, but our magazine like I can. And I'm not even.
That's when he says that he's listening to what's his face, Epstein's neighbor, Letnick, Howard Letnick. See what General says. Has to say here.
I can, though. Can I shift a little bit and comment more on the retirement of General George? And
yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to do that because General George, as the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, is well loved by soldiers across the board. He's created a culture that's very good within the U.S. Army. But he's not the only one that was reported in that statement by the New York Times yesterday. It's not only General Randy George, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, it's also General Dave Hodney, a 4-star general, one of the few that are in the Army, who's in charge of Army Futures Command. And here's one that hit personally for me, which I don't know how to connect the dots on this, but the third officer mentioned was Major General Bill Green. Bill Green is the chief of chaplains in the Army. And what that means is he oversees all the moral capabilities of the chaplains in the force. And I know Bill Green. He was one of my chaplains when I was a brigade commander, and he is one of the finest officers and ministers in the Army. And that's why he was chosen as the chief of chaplains. When you have those 3 individuals, it tells me more of what's going on. There's all kinds of conclusions on why George was fired, but when you talk about all 3 of them together, it's much more damaging, and there's a whole lot more to this story. They were standing up for something. I don't know what the issue was, but when you hear Secretary Hegseth say that soldiers are fighting for Jesus, which is what he said in a speech the other day, that just chills me to the bone, especially when you have soldiers and all military personnel who are of other faiths.
So, enough said on that. this war is becoming more and more unpopular, if that's possible, as it goes on, right? So I wrote down just quickly some of the reasons. Is the price of oil, gas, right? I just got gas today at the cheapest place by my house, within reasonable, on my way to the gym, on my way back from the gym. I think it was 6.40 a gallon, or no, 5.80 something, and that was the cheapest Arco. That was cash price, right? So Arco usually charges about 20 cents, 18 to 20 cents above their wholesale cost of fuel that they get it for, the Opus price, and they're one of the lower, gas stations that does that. But everywhere else it's like $6.60, $6.80 in my area, for gas. So people are pissed off about that. They're unhappy. So there's no support. The military casualties, the pilot getting shot, the missing pilot, our airplanes getting shot down. I mean, this is not popular to begin with, and all those troops being sent over there. And then there's cyber attacks as well. Iran's attacking a lot of these companies, stealing data, doing things of that nature. It could get a lot worse, right? So, not to mention, there's the risk of terrorist attacks, or more likely, probably a false flag. So all this basically to say that it's making Trump's Republicans, I mean the MAGA, it's making it more likely that they will lose the election, lose power at the midterms, and that Trump will probably end up getting, uh, he definitely get impeded a lot, but he'll probably get impeached, so unless he breaks out a larger war, right? I mean, who knows? So basically, for those main reasons, this war is very unpopular, and it could really turn, the Senate and the House potentially, right? I think I saw Poly Market had it at 52%, the highest percentage that they've had for Democrats to flip the Senate. So um, that is crazy. I think it was in the 30s a few months ago, even. So aside from that, for the big sports, we've got March Madness going on. I believe right now my YouTube TV just expired. I'm trying not to spend that money on YouTube TV, 90 whatever dollars I was spending, because I have all these other streaming services. I don't pay for most of them because I get them through T-Mobile or through people that have logged in on my house, and they want me to keep using their service. But it's just not worth it, right? And so we'll see how it turns out. I think I have HBO Max, so I will be able to catch the March Madness. So NBA playoffs are heating up. So I need to get into that. I know the Lakers got ran through the other day by the Thunder, so I just kind of took some time off of sports for a few days. Baseball, I have MLB TV. Shout out T-Mobile. So I'm going to be catching lots of baseball. And then we've got UFC on the TV behind me, right? So before we go, there was some Tim Dillon stuff that I wanted to see, and some of the Joe Rogan Theo conversation as well. What does this post say? Israel's Northern Command says, oh yeah, we already went over that. German men aged 17 to 45 may need military approval for long stays abroad. Crazy. Germany's gearing up for war. These are drones making Jesus cross.
I want you to show me.
Crazy.
I wanna feel what love is.
They could fool us of UFOs if they can do that.
Business Insider Dela Cruz declined to comment. Daniel Ruzmana, located in the
Thomas Massey. He's too honest to ever be president. Man, this defense budget out of control. No way. That's way too much money. That's way too okay.
The greatest con in history. I mean, truly. It's the greatest. And I don't say great in like a good way. It is truly the most successful con in history. It makes Enron look like a guy doing 3-card Monte on the street. Anything that you can remember and identify as a complete and utter scam, this is the greatest con in history. To run as an America first,
so
and
true.
you're going to take care of America,
so true.
and then turn around and go, all of these things, daycare, Medicare, Medicaid, we have nothing to do with that. We're fighting wars. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have a defense budget of $1.5 trillion, and we're here to fight wars. It is the greatest scam in history. You got to hand it to him. And I mean, truly, and not in, again, not in a moral way, but like you got to hand it to him. This is the greatest
con
about face in political history that I have really ever seen.
Yeah. Said perfectly. Crazy. Say no. We need to say no. This guy's hilarious. I'm gonna go watch his show after his look at this stream. This is
I think those are H.
This is H?
I think so.
I thought we got G on Amazon. Didn't we pay for G?
It
A,
might
B,
have
C,
been.
D, E, F, G.
Did we pay
H
for
is
G?
bigger than G.
Yes.
H is bigger than G. Oh, good. I don't know the alphabet. So I thought H, but so we got these. Now, how much did these on Amazon run us?
I think they were like $200.
I'm just imagining being in a suburban home, suburban house, but I don't even know how to
There's
do
a
it.
better clip of him like this where he's being serious, so it's even funnier.
The Tim Dillon Show. We are here, and we are going to discuss the news of the day. Kristi Noem, I know she shot her dog in the face, and then she kind of made a mess of the Homeland Security thing. Now she's got a husband named Byron, and he likes cross-dressing, and he likes having the big tits, the milkers. And what did Noem say about this? What was her response? Miss Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. What am I supposed to pray? I'm supposed to pray for this guy and his tits? All the horror that's happening in the world. People are literally being vaporized by machines of death. We're bombing schoolgirls while they sit in class, and I'm supposed to pray for Kristi Noem's husband and his H-cup tits when the people in Gaza are wandering around trying to find grain so they can bake a loaf of bread.
Grain.
I'm supposed to pray for Kristi Noem's husband and his big tits? Well, no, I will not pray for your husband and his big tits. How about that? You can pray for his big tits. This. So this, there's a lot of things about Trump's first term to criticize, but he was not doing this. So this is surprising to a lot of people. And by the way, it's surprising to me. And there's a lot of people, and I know everyone's going to act like they're not surprised. I knew he was going to invade Iran. Nick Fuentes did. He's like the only one that did. So that kid is the only one who really called that this guy was going to go into Iran. If you had said to me, is this guy going to launch a preemptive war in Iran? I would have said no. I remember being on the phone with Barry Weiss the day he won. I was in Miami, and I was on the beach, and I called her, and we chatted briefly, and it was just a very nice conversation. I said, what's this guy going to do? And she said, I think he's going to get rid of the DEI shit, which we all thought was stupid. And, he's going to get rid of the DEI stuff, and he's going to, restore some sense of sanity to a lot of Biden era DEI, that is totally was pushing everyone in this country to the political extremes. And he was going to get the economy going, and he was going to try to tackle inflation to some degree. And he was going to, was the thought. And I mean, now Barry might have known that there was another plan. She didn't share it with me. She might have known. And I was sitting there in Miami on the phone going, well, yeah, if he does that stuff, great. I said to her, what do you think about gay marriage or this or that? She goes, no, I don't think he's going to I don't think he's going to roll back a lot of that stuff. I think he's going to go after the economy. He's going to go after the DEI stuff. He's probably going to pull a lot of the money out of Ukraine and cut some deal. And she said, he supports Israel. He's going to support Israel. And I said, okay. At that point, I was, that was kind of expected. And I said to her, I was like, you think he's going to get a deal done in the Middle East? And she goes, yeah, because that's what he campaigned on. We get a deal done in the Middle East. But I did not think, truly, that somehow he was going to launch a preemptive war in Iran. And then I didn't think we would be kind of losing it. Like, by the way, drag me all you want, like, for not being omniscient or not being clairvoyant. I had no idea. I had no clue that Iran was going to be able to blow military bases off the earth.
No one did.
And we weren't going to defend them.
Well, they should have.
Know that
we did.
Our Gulf allies were going to get attacked, and we weren't really going to be able to do that much about it.
We can't do shit.
I had no idea that this was going to go this poorly. I know Miri Madelson gave him a lot of money. I know a lot of big donors gave him a lot of money. I know they wanted him to support Israel. The guy's always supported Israel. He's never not supported Israel. That was never a question. This was not a guy that identified with the plight of the Palestinians at any moment in his life. His daughter converted to Orthodox Judaism. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is deeply enmeshed in Israel. Like, that was all obvious, and it was known. But the idea that he was going to back Israel into Iran and into Lebanon and into all of these places truly is deeply psychotic.
Deeply psychotic.
Kids over in these wars and shit like that. Put your fucking honky ass kids up there. Let them go shed some fucking blood.
Especially if you're asking for it.
Especially if you're out there fucking bullshitting, dude. Put your fucking honky little fancy ass fucking kid up there, man. That shit makes me mad, bro.
What?
I'm just sick of this shit. And I'm sick of rich people not putting their fucking kids over in these wars and shit like that. Put your fucking honky ass kids up there. Let them go.
Sorry. Throw him out if you don't like him. It has nothing to do with me. And the fact that the idea, I don't give a fuck about Iran either. Sorry. Throw him out if you don't like him. It has nothing to do with me. And the fact that the idea that I have to give a flying fuck, you should be standing with Iran. Shut the fuck up. Will you shut the fuck up? If they want to throw the bums who run Iran out, throw them the fuck out. But the idea that the United States of America, when people can't afford houses and they can't afford health care, spends all its fucking time talking about the Middle East and fucking Arabs and Jews and religion and the fucking temple and slaughtering the heifer and Iran and Sunnis and Shiites. Get what the fuck is going on? Truly. What the fuck?
In this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that,
This guy got accused, I believe Altman did, by his sister or stepsister of some inappropriate sexual assault. Yeah. Not a nice story.
it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have
Just
ever
happened.
lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you, and then you took whatever you.
So here's what's going on. I don't want to scare anyone. These people all believe that they're communicating with some ancient Sumerian deity. I know this I have kind of sources on this. They really do. They believe they are communicating with super intelligence. And
Alex Jones says the movie Prometheus is the closest thing to what it is, but it's like the movie Prometheus that they do think. Yes.
And they do believe, and he just said it out loud, by the way. He literally just said, he was like, the 100 million years of evolution, all of the 20 years of life, they have all led to this point. And this point is when we are going to give birth, as I've said on the show before, because this is their main goal, to the AI demon. They want to give birth to the AI demon, the super intelligent AI, who is then going to run the planet and decide who stays, who goes, who's necessary, who's not. They're pretty open about this. This is the thing about all of the AI people, all of the tech people. They really are, they really are pretty transparent when it comes to what they want to do and what they need to do in their minds, because they go, if China gets to it first, if China unleashes the AI demon before we unleash our AI demon, our American AI demon, Western values, America, rah-rah AI demon, and China enslaves their population with their demon, they will sell the world their demon, and then that demon will enslave the world, and then they'll make all the money, and they'll have all the geopolitical leverage, and they'll have all the military advantages. So in this, quote, AI arms race, we are both racing, the U.S. and China, to give birth to an ancient Sumerian super intelligent demon. And your Aunt Connie in Phoenix, who's a receptionist, is fucked. Because that's what's going on, and you got to tell her that. You go, Connie, I hope you save money, because there are men in Silicon Valley who are communicating with an ancient Sumerian god. What? Connie, will you sit down and listen to me? Connie, have you saved your money? I've saved a little bit of it, but, you know, the prices at the grocery store are so high. Connie, you have 18 months before your ass is out of that office. There's an ancient Sumerian god that Sam Altman and Peter Thiel are communicating with, and they're going to give birth to an AI demon. What? It's a demonic force that's going to take form through artificial intelligence. And we have to do it before China does. Well, that sounds scary. You have no idea how scary it is, Connie, and you better save your money. You've got 18 months. 18 months left before this AI demon is going to do your job.
Trump just posted something on Truth Social. I just like the way it looks better on Twitter, because whenever the Truth Social videos, always the dimensions always really fucking stuff. So this is what Trump's posted. Wait, hold on. Let me double check. This is what he just posted on his Truth. Yeah, it says many of Iran's military leaders who have led them poorly and unwisely are terminated along with much else. This is a massive strike and attack, bro. So that's what Trump just posted. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me on today's stream. We will stream again tonight if something interesting happens. Otherwise, enjoy your UFC. If the war stuff kicks off, we'll stream again if something happens, okay? So we'll chat soon, possibly tomorrow.